Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Thanks for joining us for this week's Tips from the Bar.
Tips from the bar. That's us. Oh, yeah. Oh, and I just happened to be holding my glass right here.
See, I got to match it.
Oh, look at that.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Uh-huh.
Very fancy.
Yeah, we got our fancy glasses here. But we're here at the home office.
We are.
Yep.
We're not at a bar tonight.
No, though we do keep booze around the office, too, sometimes.
Got
when we
some
need to. There's some nice wine over there. I think it's champagne.
Is it?
I think so.
All right.
You'd think I'd know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was given as a gift. It's actually a really nice bottle.
It is a nice bottle.
Yeah.
Saving it.
But RG and Kurt on assignment.
They are on assignment tonight.
Kurt's on vacation.
On a vacation assignment.
Kurt's vacation assignment.
Yeah.
So he should not be on doing assignments down there.
No.
He should be relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Well-deserved relaxation.
Yeah. RG is on assignment.
He's on assignment.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was hoping to make it back on time. But
not able to.
No, he works with some people down in Lafayette too. So if you're down in Lafayette or you know an attorney that needs help down in Lafayette, we'll do it.
Well, yeah,
we'll drive down there.
Yeah.
Oh, but so what are we doing today?
I think we're gonna do our classic Isaac and Jordan minisode this evening. I'm sure everyone knows by now I'm the immigration, you're the business guy, so we'll give everybody and we can talk about other things too, but
we can.
If you guys have questions, we can answer them. We can do our best.
Right. You have questions about
feel free to shoot a message.
The Terminator, any kind of late 80s, 90s movies. We'll answer any of those questions.
Yeah, feel free.
Mm-hmm.
But
I got all those.
In the meantime,
how about I tell you about some business stuff,
Why don't you tell us what's going on in the business world?
Well, I'm going to just tell you generally about I'm going to tell you about business, but it's not like new stuff. It's how to start an LLC.
All right.
Right?
I know a lot of people
I had my awesome video.
That I watched all of it immediately.
That's what I heard.
As soon as it was posted, I was just waiting. That first view was me.
I did the very first view. I know. I knew it would. I knew it would be. Yeah, she just wants to see all the videos.
I do.
I'm like, calm down. This one just published. All right.
So tell us about the video.
This one was top 3 concerns when starting an Indiana LLC.
Okay.
And then I dance at the end. Yeah. Yeah, you should definitely watch the whole thing through. It's on our Facebook page. But the 3 concerns that I talked about, the first one, registered agent. So a lot of people have no idea what that is.
What is it?
And it's not common sense.
Yeah.
Great question, Jordan. That's fantastic.
What is it?
What is it? Thank you for the question. Fantastic. If maybe you had this question, if you ever come across this.
So if you're creating an LLC, you need a registered agent.
Frankly, if you're creating any kind of entity, whether it's a corporation or an LLC with the Secretary of State of Indiana, so you're looking to start your business, you want limited liability, which you can get limited liability through a corporation or an LLC.
What does limited liability mean?
It means you're not personally responsible or your personal stuff's not on the line for the acts of the business. So the corporation goes and gets a loan or the LLC acquires an asset or a piece of equipment. Well, you're not individually on the line for that. So if you got that piece of equipment and maybe there's a loan against that piece of equipment, but then you can't pay for the loan, you're not personally responsible for it unless you personally signed and said, yes, I will be personally responsible. But just as a blanket matter, you're not. And
that's different. That's how one reason an LLC is different than, say, like a sole proprietorship or a partnership.
Sole proprietor. Yep.
Okay.
Anytime that you even start transacting business with people, you've started a business. But it's just whether you've gone to the Secretary of State of Indiana and said, hey, I want limited liability. That determines whether you actually get that limited liability.
Okay.
You just notify the state and let them know. So at this point, you've decided, I don't want my personal assets to be at risk. So I am going to file with the Secretary of State. You've met with your attorney about having maybe an LLC. Like I said, there's certain situations where corporations are good too.
Okay.
But yeah, and let's say that you've gone with an LLC. You go to the Indiana Secretary of State website. It takes about 15 minutes and $97.14. You got yourself at least the basis for an LLC. You still have to upkeep it. But when you're going through that filing process, there's a number of questions you have to answer. Some of them are simple. How long do you want it to last? Well, most of the time you want your LLC to be perpetual.
Okay.
You want to just continue going. But then you come to questions like,
registered agent.
who's your registered agent?
There we go.
Well, that question, the registered agent is just the person who receives mail for your business. Like literally physical mail when it gets mailed to you. They get notice. Notice if you get sued. Notice if the state is trying to say, hey, you're not compliant with something, or a city or a township. Like somebody's giving you notice of something. The registered agent is just the person who receives that mail.
So does the registered agent have to be the owner or one of the partners of the LLC? Or
Nope, it can be. It can be. But really, it just has to be somebody who has a physical location, not a P.O. box, physical location in Indiana, and that you trust to receive that notice. So while it could be an owner or a member, like a partner in the actual LLC, or it could be your lawyer. You know, somebody, oh, you want somebody to get notice that you're being sued? Sometimes you make it your lawyer.
Probably a good thing to have your lawyer do it.
That's right. If you see in the video, I say shameless plug, and it pops up like right here. Like shameless plug. Because you can do your attorney. I'm a registered agent for a number of businesses.
Okay.
Because they want, if notice came in.
Right. Because certain lawsuits, if something is filed, you need to respond in a certain number of days. So it can be extremely helpful to have your lawyer be on top of that and be receiving those. And
there's big problems if you don't end up receiving that mail. Let's say that you say, well, okay, I know I'm getting sued, so I'm just going to reject the any mail that comes in. No, then that means the Secretary of State can administratively dissolve you. Like the Secretary of State can say, oh, well, you had a registered agent who's not a real registered agent, so maybe you're not actually even still existing as a business. Maybe we'll just dissolve you. Now, administratively being dissolved, you can get reinstated with certain points, but it's going to cause a whole bunch more problems than just making sure that you answer your mail and then respond timely to any lawsuits or demand letters or notices that you get.
Okay.
So that's your registered agent. The next question that can come up, am I manager managed or member managed? There are the main members of an LLC are the owners of the LLC. So whoever, if you're a member, that's what they call it if you're an owner. They call it member. You either have interest / equity / ownership units. There's a lot of different names for it, but you own it. That makes you a member of that LLC. You can have it so that anybody who's a member, anybody who owns part of that, is also the management. So they make all the decisions on behalf of it. But you don't have to.
Okay.
You can have a manager-managed LLC. That means you might have a manager who doesn't own equity, who's not a member, or alternatively, you might have a member who doesn't make managerial decisions, kind of like a passive investor. So you could have a passive, if you want, like maybe you don't have it right now, but you're like, you know what, one day I know I kind of want to go after investors. Then do manager managed. Because at that point, you can structure it so that within your operating agreement, that's the contract that really governs how you operate your LLC. It's a really important document for you to maintain limited liability. But the document itself can say, look, we can have passive investors. They don't have any managerial decisions, and they're limited just to maybe these particular decisions or no decisions, or that any money that we get is just going to be a passive investment, and they're a member, but they're not a manager. Okay. And so the manager itself is a whole nother tier.
And if you have confusion about that, when you're starting to...
Which it can be confusing.
It can be confusing. It can be hard to define roles. It's always good to have a attorney around to help define the roles, maybe help you decide.
Got a whole questionnaire. I'll walk you through all of it. But that's the main point, or that's the main thing when it comes to member managed or manager managed, is just trying to figure out what you want to do with your business and who are the active players and who could be the active players. So knowing your goals is going to be important when making that decision. The final thing that I talk about in the video is single member LLCs. The single member LLC, just one person owning it, but a lot of questions come about that of, well, how are they treated? There were a lot of states that didn't even recognize limited liability for a single member LLC. You had to have more than one person. And in some states, it still matters. Most states recognize limited liability for the single member, but there's certain things that creditors can do to single member LLCs in other states. In Indiana, you get pretty good protection for that, so you don't need to really worry about it. But there are some states where it's easier for a creditor to get to a single member LLC than it is for a multi-member LLC.
Okay.
The different way that creditors can get either charging orders or other types of retribution from your LLC. I mean, that's kind of why you entered into the LLC, to help protect yourself from creditors. That's one of the reasons. And so if that's a really important thing to you, then you got to make sure that you're upholding all of the corporate formalities. It's not corporate, but the LLC formalities. You have an operating agreement that you do sit, even if it's just by yourself, you sit by yourself and you take meeting minutes. That's still something important to do. So that if somebody does sue you, you have this stack of documents and you can lay it down and you can say, look, I have been maintaining my limited liability status. So if somebody accuses you of, you know, you don't have a real business, it's just this person, it's just this woman or this man who just filed with the Secretary of State but never actually respected the entity. If you lay down that huge stack of documents of all your meeting minutes and all your operating agreement, everything that you've been doing, you get to retain that corporate veil, is what they call it. That protection. You get to keep your limited liability. So definitely something to watch out for, and making sure that you actually stick with all that. Again, something else I can help out with if you ever come across it. But the video is kind of funny, so feel free to check it out if you want to.
And where can they find it? On the Facebook page?
You can find it on the Facebook page. We upload it to YouTube, and then I'm putting it on the website too.
All right, yeah, so check it out. If anything, you can see the end where Isaac dances for a little bit of a laugh if you want.
I did a little bit of gopher dance there. None of that was planned, but once we finished it, the video, it was definitely the right moves.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Well, awesome.
All right, but you know what? I'd like to learn more about immigration.
Would you?
Yeah, I would. Very sincerely.
Yeah. Well, one question I get a lot is, and this is kind of based in family immigration. I'm in the United States. My family member petitioned for me, can I stay in the United States to get my green card? Okay. So, favorite answer, it depends. So, a couple of things.
We need like something that drops down like, it depends. We
right,
pull the
every
thing
time.
And
I feel like every time I answer an immigration question, it has to be, it depends, because there's so many, it's true.
Especially in that area of practice.
Especially, it really depends. So, basically, let's go through a couple examples, right? Okay. We'll go through one.
Do you want me to act anything out?
No, I
Maybe a role player? I'm very good at role playing. I'm very good at acting. No, you prefer just to explain?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure everybody else would probably prefer that too.
Okay. So let's say that you are married to a U.S. citizen. Okay, you're an immigrant and you're married to a U.S. citizen.
I'm an immigrant.
Yep. You can be.
Please go on. Okay, but yeah, all right. A foreign person.
Okay, let's assume you're an immigrant married to a U.S. citizen and you're in the United States. So based on your marriage to the U.S. citizen, you're eligible to get a green card. Okay, which means permanent resident card, green card, which means you can live and work in the United States legally, right?
Fantastic.
Okay, so I get a lot of questions like that. I'm married to a U.S. citizen. I'm in the U.S. Can I stay here to get my green card? It depends, right? So the first thing we'll look at is whether or not you, well, actually, the main thing is if you entered the U.S. legally. So, and what that means is if you entered the U.S. on some type of visa, whether it be, you know, a tourist visa and you overstayed, or a student visa and you're either still enrolled or, you know, you stopped schooling but you're still here. You know, it could be an H-1B, like employment visa. So as long as you entered the U.S., so entered, you know, and you were inspected. So you were inspected if you crossed over on land, you were inspected by Border Patrol, or if you entered in an airport, you were entered and you were allowed in by Border Patrol. If that happens, you're allowed to stay in the U.S. You can get your green card in the U.S. So that's, you know, the U.S. really strongly favors the husband-wife relationships, and they favor when you do enter through inspection, what they call through inspection. So in that instance, you are allowed to remain in the U.S. Now, if you are in the U.S. and you cross the border, you know, in immigration, we call it entered without inspection. So, you know, you basically what that means is a land border without, you know, evading Border Patrol, things like that. If you've done that, you will not be able to stay in the U.S. to get your green card. What you'll have to do is you'll have to file a waiver, basically showing extreme hardship to either your spouse or U.S. citizen children, that they will suffer extreme hardship if, you know, you're not allowed to stay in the U.S. if you have to relocate back to your home country. In that instance, you file the waiver. If it gets approved, then you go to your home country, apply for the green card at a U.S. embassy, get the green card, and you come back. that process is very complicated.
Okay.
It's very complicated and it's very specific.
Yeah.
And just saying, oh, my family will miss me, or, those aren't good arguments. So if you're in the U.S. and you're married to a U.S. citizen and you entered without inspection, please give an immigration attorney a call, because you are eligible for this benefit, but it is a complicated process. So you'll need to have an immigration attorney go through your history. And also, this, I'm also not bringing up things like past deportation orders, criminal history, all of that stuff matters too.
Which should be disclosed to the immigration attorney up front as soon as possible. Just disclose everything.
As soon as possible.
You're not helping anybody by withholding that information.
I'm your attorney. I'm on your side. There's a thing called attorney-client privilege. So everything that you tell me in our meetings is protected by attorney-client privilege. So I can't go, and tell someone. And if I know up front, we can plan and we can do it. If, a lot of times clients want to hide the bad things, but guess what? The government always finds out. And if I don't know, I can't protect you. So always, my clients have been pretty good. So, so they know, I'm on your side. You got to tell me the good and the bad.
Yeah.
So that's one way you can stay in the U.S. if you're married to a U.S. citizen. Another way is just kind of generally too, expanding it. The most common question is usually when they're married to a U.S. citizen. I do get other family members. So and again, it goes back to whether you entered with inspection, right?
Okay, sure.
So if you entered with inspection, so on some type of visa, and your relative, your U.S. citizen relative is an immediate relative, so that's either a spouse, a child under the age of 21, or you're the parent of a U.S. citizen who's 21.
Okay.
Yeah, you can stay in the U.S. and adjust your status.
Okay.
Okay. There are certain issues that do come up as well, and this goes to the husband and wife issue too. If you enter on a certain status, the government doesn't like when you change your status right away because they feel like you're avoiding certain processes or trying to cut the line. So there are certain timelines for filing. If you enter on a tourist visa and you immediately file a petition to get a green card, there's a high likelihood that you'll get denied because it looks like you were evading immigration laws, right? Before filing, if you entered on a certain type of visa and want to change your status or apply for a green card, I highly recommend speaking with an immigration attorney so they can flag any areas of concern for you. Because sometimes it might be better to leave the country and go through that rather than to apply here and get denied and have to deal with all of that. Bad news is for children of U.S. citizens who are married and or over 21, unfortunately, you are not considered an immediate relative of a U.S. citizen. So if you are in the United States and have overstayed a visa or on a different type of visa, you will have to leave the U.S. to go get your green card.
Okay. Yeah.
So I know that's a lot. It's a very complicated system. The relationships sometimes don't make sense because immediate relative, that's a child. Well, not if they're over 21. And even if they're under 21, if they're married, they're not considered an immediate relative. So immigration definitely has its own language, and the system is very complicated. And, your past history really needs to be examined to really determine the best steps for you. So if you have questions, feel free. You can send me questions via our website, via Facebook. I'd be happy to set up consultation and we can talk about it,
we're always open for any of the questions.
Absolutely.
I'm posting in the comments on this video either now or if you're watching it later. And then we have plenty of at our email as well.
You can email us. I'm Jordan at CCSKLaw.com.
That's right.
Do we have a general?
At CCSKLaw.com.
We try to make it easy.
We keep it pretty simple. We actually tagged ourselves up in the comments so you could see how to spell our name. Even though my name seemed to have got combined with, actually that's a Kazmazak Gazizek Jordan. So that really put us all together in that one. But that's the magic of Facebook and us constantly trying to figure out how to possibly arrange a proper Facebook live tag. Half the time it doesn't even tag people. But that's all right. We got it this time.
We got it. You can also visit us at www.ccSKLaw.com.
Yes, that'd be correct.
Give us a call, 219 230 3600. Yeah, I remembered our old number, which we still have, but
yeah, that one links up to we got a couple numbers, but that's the main one that we use. So all right,
I think
we're good.
I think we're good for this week.
We learned a lot today.
I learned
that was a lot.
So much.
I mean, that was so much information. We're gonna let that sink in for a while.
Yeah.
And because this is a mini-sode.
We gotta head out. Gotta cut it short.
It's that time. But thank you for joining us. CCSK Law. We'll see you next week, unless you feel free to stop in earlier before that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
have a great week. Thank you.